Hi, I'm Lisa Gonzalez, the Executive Director of Finance and Operations here in the Marysville School District. This year, I'm going to be starting a brand new video series called Budget Bytes. It'll give me an opportunity to inform the public and explain some of the concepts around school district budgeting, some of the challenges we're facing, and answer any of the questions that you might have. I'm going to try to do this once a week, and this week's very first episode, what are binding conditions? I'm sure you've heard this phrase. It's been talked about at our board meeting. It has also been talked about in some of the briefs that we've put out to the community. But in essence, it is a statutory requirement when a school district is unable to have a budget for the upcoming school year where the money going out is less than the money coming in. So in order to cover our needs for this year, we had to bring to the board a request for a resolution for binding conditions. This then allows us to start borrowing or using funds that we're going to get in future years in this current year. That's what we've had to do this year, and that's what the board approved on August 7th. So what got us here? There are a number of things here. I'll go through them really briefly. We did have a levy failure. What that did was it put a $25 million hole in our budget. There will be subsequent videos where I'm going to be speaking about this as well, just so that you can see exactly what happened with numbers from our budget. One-time ESSER dollars are finally spent. ESSER funds are no longer, which means that when we had positions that were funded out of ESSER, we need to move those to other places or we need to eliminate them. And so that's put a hole in our budget. We have a number of grants that are no longer funded by the state, and we had positions behind those. We've had years of declining enrollment where the student numbers have been declining, but we haven't necessarily kept track or kept pace with the staffing reductions. We have some bargained agreements that we're really waiting for either the levy to be passed or additional funds from the state of Washington that didn't materialize. And finally, we have something that used to be known as the cost of living adjustment or the COLA. It's called the IPD. We love our acronyms, Inflationary Price Deflator. It doesn't cover all of our expenses that when we pass that on, we're able to gain from the state. So as a result of that, it causes a structural deficit. So what are binding conditions going to require? We're going to be working very closely with the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction and with the Educational Service District. These are some best practices that we're going to be focusing on, that they're going to be coming in and really taking a look at our processes to give us advice on anything that we can do to better manage and explain our budget. Managing budget balances, cash management, encumbrances, purchase orders. All of these things are going to be important moving forward. Thank WASBO for this slide. Here are some of the benefits of binding conditions that they've shared with school districts. It does allow us to borrow money that we're going to get in the future. A lot of you have referred to that as a payday loan. It gives us an opportunity to be fiscally stable, to improve our situation, additional accountability. And you're going to see a lot of that this year where we're going to be providing to the board of directors as well as to all of our stakeholders more and more information than you ever would have wanted to know about school district budgets. It's also going to give us a fiscal officer from the Educational Service District to be a partner side by side to help us maybe look at things that we haven't looked at before. So all of these are really important. We just, as of the end of last week, received our binding conditions, and this is what it's going to be required. We're going to be required to have a specific ending general balance, monthly budget and status reports that also have to be shared with the ESD and the state, quarterly meetings, and then all of these other benchmarks are targets that we will be working on as well. So you're all getting a real quick look at this. This is something that was just shared with us at the end of last week. So these will be the Marysville School District binding conditions. That was short and sweet. Next week, I've got another video that's going to be planned for you, but please, We've got a special email address, budgetbytes, BYTES, at msd25.org. Please go ahead and send your questions, and they may appear on a future episode.